We begin with this Fox News alert. President Trump has the world's attention now. He came through on a campaign promise, hitting Canada, Mexico, and China with tariffs to protect Americans from the flow of illegal immigrants and fentanyl in this country. And we can now report Mexico and Canada are leaning into Trump's art of the deal. The president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, spoke to Trump and is saying she will send 10,000 Mexican military to their side of the southern border. That's meant to assist with the border crisis left behind by the Biden-Harris administration. Trump says they agreed to pause any tariffs for 30 days.
Whoa, big update, guys. Donald Trump just secured a border deal with Mexico. Mexico is literally sending 10,000 troops to the border under this deal that Donald Trump just made to prevent the tariffs from going into effect. Insane stuff. I've got the latest update here for you. Guys, do me a big favor, hit that like button as you check this out.
The president also just spoke with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and we'll talk with him again today in a few hours. Senior White House correspondent Peter Doocy. Peter, a lot of movement today.
Just in the last few minutes, Harris, we found out how much it costs to get rid of a 25% tariff for a month. The cost is 10,000 Mexican troops, and President Trump himself just went live confirming this. He's saying, I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariff for 1 month, during which we will have negotiations headed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, and Secretary of Commerce Howard Lutnick, and high-level representatives from Mexico. I look forward to participating in those negotiations with President Sheinbaum as we attempt to achieve a deal between our two countries. And the president deployed some of his economic advisors to the shows this morning to explain that this wasn't about punishing consumers, it was about something else.
President Trump was absolutely 100% clear that this is not a trade war, this is a drug war. There are perhaps 100,000 people last year that died of fentanyl, and the fentanyl is coming in across the Mexican and Canadian borders. 80, 90, 95% of Mexicans want the drug war to end, and the same is true in Canada.
The only event on President Trump's schedule later today is an event at 3 p.m. celebrating the Stanley Cup win of the Florida Panthers. That's right around the time that we understand he's also supposed to talk to Prime Minister Trudeau. We will see if Trudeau is able to head off the tariffs there for a month, something that we have not heard about yet. Is he also going to talk to China's President Xi, who he is threatening with 10% tariffs as well? Harris?
All right, Peter, thank you so very much. There will be, as Peter's pointing out, if something doesn't get worked out with Canada's Prime Minister Trudeau and President Trump, there will be a 10% tariff on Canadian energy imports and a 25% tariff on all other Canadian imports. And there would have been on all Mexican imports at midnight. As you know, Mexico just moments ago said 30 days, give us 30 days to work this out. I'm paraphrasing, but that's effectively what's happening. There will also be an additional 10% tariff on Chinese imports. And you just heard Peter ask, so are they going to come to the table? Well, we'll see. The day is young, and there's a lot of talking going on. Steve Hilton, Fox News contributor. Steve, people are moving, and I think you have a pretty clear-eyed idea of why.
Because you have someone in the White House who is taking control. He's in charge. He's at the height of his powers. He's commanding the American stage, the world stage. And by the way, this is what we saw before. So the reason people are so completely kind of losing it over the weekend, ever since these tariffs, is just completely incomprehensible to me. I remember it very clearly last time round, because then the real issue with Mexico wasn't just fentanyl. It was also, of course, immigration and the caravans and all of that. And I remember that President Trump announced 25% tariffs on Mexico via a tweet, as it was then called, on a Sunday night, just before we went on air with my show. And we covered it. And within days, you saw exactly the same kind of quick reaction. The then president of Mexico sent troops to their southern border, and it's happened again. And here is someone who's completely ripping up the playbook of how things operate in terms of relationships between countries. I remember, of course, being back in the day I was in 10 Downing Street in the UK, and I saw how it was done, the traditional way. And governments, when there's an issue with another country and they send their representatives, and you have diplomats, and maybe in 6 months there's some kind of summit, and then they issue working papers, and maybe in 2 years something happens. With President Trump, he's not interested in any of that. That's why people elected him, to get things done quickly, and just look at the results within just practically 24 hours in terms of the fentanyl issue, which, by the way, he understands so deeply because he understands the communities most affected by it.
Guys, I'm going to show you the rest of this clip, but Donald Trump, don't miss this, is delivering on his border security promises. Trump campaigned on securing the border, stopping illegal immigration, and is this the proof that he means business? 100%. 10,000. Did y'all catch that? 10,000 Mexican troops deployed. Why didn't Biden negotiate a deal like this? Imagine that Biden would have done a deal like this. It would have been absolutely insane. Tariffs are used as leverage, not punishment. Does this show Trump's negotiation skills? Absolutely. Fentanyl, guys, I don't understand why the Biden administration didn't do anything on this front. Fentanyl is killing Americans every day. Daily, Americans are dying because of fentanyl that's being brought in across our border. Shouldn't every leader be taking this crisis as seriously as Donald Trump? Guys, I do want to say thanks for watching up to this point. A lot more I want to show you here. We're going to talk more about this, everything that is happening, the new deals that are going into place right now as Trump is talking to the leader in Mexico, as the leader in Canada, China, everything that's happening. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. That thumbs up like button, it really helps out with the channel. It gets this video to be shown to more people so people can see what is actually happening in our country and the great job that Donald Trump is doing so far. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everyone. Don't forget to subscribe as well. Okay, guys, watch the rest of this clip here because this is so interesting. Everything that's happening, the Democrats are failing or have failed, and Trump, he's cleaning up the mess.
You know, it's great to get your front row seat to history from David Cameron's leadership in the UK and apply that now. Our brand new American citizen and friend, Steve Hilton, we really appreciate that. Please sit tight with me as I work through this, because you said 24 hours. I feel like it's been 24 minutes because they were still kind of trash talking with, we're coming with our own, we're doing this tariff against the United States. Treasury Secretary, who'll be a big part of this, Scott Bessent, will be in a major position and upcoming trade talks. And he wrote a recent opinion piece about this. He says, the truth is that other countries have taken advantage of the United States' openness for far too long because we allowed them to. Tariffs are a means to finally stand up for Americans. He also said this during his confirmation hearing.
One will be for remedying unfair trade practices. Two, maybe for a more generalized tariff as a revenue raiser for the federal budget. Tariffs can be used for negotiations, whether it's for Mexico on the fentanyl crisis. I think you and the American people should think about those three broad categories.
Wow. I tell you, the ball is moving. Now, tell me what you forecast with China, if you have any thoughts on that.
Well, I think you're going to see the same. And of course, it's vital because the precursor chemicals are coming from China. So you need to work on every aspect of that supply chain, as it were. And again, look back what happened last time. Is just before the COVID pandemic threw a wrench in everything, but President Trump had negotiated with China, despite all the rhetoric, oh, we're going to have third world war with China, the critics were saying, but he had a good relationship with President Xi. They knew where each other stood, and he negotiated a trade deal with China. It was many people don't remember because days later, we were right in the thick of the pandemic. So I'm very confident that these two can do business with each other, and President Trump will convince convey to the Chinese regime that you can't keep getting away with this, and we are serious. And already, by the way, they've closed a technical loophole that has enabled for decades now the import of cheap products from China, avoiding duties and taxes. They've already done that. No one even noticed. So this new administration is deadly serious about all of this.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's one more ground that they can hit with China, and you alluded to it a little bit with the talk about the COVID pandemic, and that is that most of the materials to make some of our medicines, particularly for diabetics and all sorts across the spectrum, some of the most expensive medicines to make and for Americans to buy, they're made in China. So, I mean, there's the pressure that they have put on us. We can alleviate for ourselves if we can do some of that in this country. And Trump is also putting out that olive branch. Cuts you down to 15% taxes if you start to do some of that stuff here in the United States. There's a lot he comes forth with. Look, real quickly, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, will be the first visit in the White House for his second term as President Trump. What do you make of the future and Hamas's hostage release and ceasefire deal at this point?
Well, you know, this is harder. This is harder because you're not dealing with rational actors like the leaders of major countries, whether that's China or Mexico or Canada. You're dealing with a murderous death cult in the form of Hamas, and there's very little leverage that anyone there has over them, particularly in their completely weakened state. Despite that, however, the minute that you saw President Trump, he was President-elect Trump, actually, when he got involved, you saw progress in a way that you hadn't seen for over a year from Biden, who was just there in the White House doing who knows what, falling asleep half the time, doing nothing. And then President Trump actually got things moving. And so I am optimistic. I would say I'm less optimistic because it's harder. He's got less leverage than with these other countries. But I don't think there's anyone on earth that you would rather have meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister tomorrow and trying to get the second phase of this deal done than Donald Trump, because he's already shown he knows how to do it. He's already delivered hostage releases, both in the Middle East and elsewhere across the world. We saw that with Rick Grenell the other day. I mean, the scale of his kind of practical achievements, every day something is happening because he's serious and he's engaged, well prepared, a great professional team. It's absolutely astonishing to watch this new president in action.
Well, I tell you, for all of the pearl clutching and hyperventilating that some were doing over the weekend about what's coming on certain goods in America, I don't think those people had on their bingo card that Mexico and Canada would lean in and perhaps come to the table.
Right.
But we're reporting the news as it happens. Steve Hilton, it's always great to have you in focus. Thank you.
Guys, Democrats failed. They failed for 4 years. Donald Trump is coming in, and 100% he's cleaning up the mess. And guys, I do want to say I appreciate everyone for watching this video. We're going to discuss this for just a minute and break it down. What exactly is going on? Do me a big favor. Hit that thumbs up like button. It helps out the channel. Okay, Biden and Harris. They ignored the border crisis for years. Why is it only getting addressed now that Trump is back? And again, isn't it incredible to... If you're as impressed as I am, leave a comment down below. Let me know. I'm so impressed because Donald Trump kept saying, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to seal it. I'm going to be able to fix this issue. And everyone's like, no, this guy can't. As soon as he gets onto the global stage, he doesn't have the leverage. He's going to do all these things. None of the countries are going to take him seriously. We have had more done on the international stage in the last few weeks than we did in years under Biden and Harris. If Mexico is willing to help now, why weren't they pressured to before? Mexico would have been there. They would have been helping with the border issue all along if they just would have been pressured to help, to do their fair share. Who benefits from an open border? Let me ask you, who benefits from unchecked drug trafficking? The answer is nobody. Mexico doesn't benefit. The U.S. doesn't benefit. All you needed was a strong leader to say, hey, this has got to stop. We're going to stop it right now. And if you don't help, then there's going to be a consequence. Trump's leadership is forcing real action from other world leaders. And I love to see it. This proves his America First policies really do work. And we're starting to see the fruit of the labor that he has put into this, guys. And I'm so excited because it is February. Donald Trump literally went into office less than a month ago, 14 days ago, 15 days ago. Look at how much he's accomplished in 2 weeks. 2 weeks blows my mind at everything that he's been able to do in 2 weeks. Just imagine, guys, what's going to happen over the next 4 years. And if you're on the Trump train, then you're pumped up and you're excited about this. And if you're more skeptical, you may be a little bit afraid and maybe have a little bit of anxiety. But I'll tell you this. What's really going to prove it out is what continues to happen. So if you haven't made up your mind on Donald Trump yet and on the new America that he's building, maybe it's a reflection of the old America. I don't know. All I can say is sit back and watch for a little bit and then make an opinion. And I'll tell you this. If Donald Trump wrecks America, we're all going to be on your side. Okay? Nobody wants that. We all want America to thrive. We all want America to grow. We all want to live happy, successful lives. We all want to be able to worship our God. That is what we made the difference for, guys. If you're not familiar with it, the difference is the group of people, the community that's come together under this channel, guys. And I want to say I appreciate everyone. If you're watching all the way to this point, you're a legend. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. All right? Join the community. We're making videos like this every single day, breaking down exactly what's happening on the world stage here in America, the real things that are affecting real families. And that's why we, as conservative Christians, are standing up. We're letting our voices be heard. And we're saying, guys, let's just make some common sense decisions. Let's lead with strength. And let's make a difference in the world. We got to stop the fentanyl. We got to close the border. Common sense things. I got a question for you. Leave it down in the comments down below, guys. Do you think that Trump's border deal with Mexico is a major step towards solving the immigration and fentanyl crisis? Let me know if this is a win. Maybe, but you're on the fence. Maybe you're like, no, this won't make a real difference. Maybe you're just like all in. Trump is proving why he should have all along been back in office. All right. Whatever it is, let me know down in the comments. And guys, do this as well. Memberships are live. If you want to go crazy, guys, and again, appreciate all the support. Y'all are absolutely insane. Consider becoming a channel member, guys, to support the channel even more. So click the join button down below if you want to do that. And guys, I just want to say I appreciate everyone. Y'all are so awesome. Love y'all. Thank y'all for everything you're doing. Let's keep making America great again. I'll see you again later on with another update. Y'all take it easy.